Hi, welcome to Ms. Muses. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Stephanie.
And today we're doing another video about teaching in Thailand. Specifically, we're going to talk about the program, how to apply for the program, what the program includes, the costs, and the paperwork that you have to prepare beforehand. So that's a lot to cover, so we'll get to it quickly.
So there are many ways for you to teach abroad, but the program that we use is XploreAsia, and that program is specific to countries in Asia, and we also believe Costa Rica. But if you're interested, we recommend that you go straight to exploreasia.org because there are other travel companies that act as intermediaries and will charge you like a few hundred more just to be directed to XploreAsia in the end and be given the same services. We knew people from our program who had to pay more for no reason. The first step is filling out the online application, and there are variations depending on the country that you are from. For example, if you're from a non-native English-speaking country, then they might ask you to send in a voice recording or schedule a short interview with you just so they could hear how well your English is.
Alright, so now that you've applied, let's talk about what the program includes and the cost. You have two things to consider in the program. You have the TESOL course and then the actual program. Some people don't do the TESOL course with XploreAsia, with that program, because they've either done it beforehand or they've been teachers for a while, so they don't have to have that certificate. However, most people do the TESOL course. Therefore, you'll have the TESOL course, which is the 120-hour TESOL course certificate, which is 3 weeks in Hua Hin. And then you have the placement program. The placement program is basically the overall program that includes support and logistics for while you're in Hua Hin, as well as afterwards when you're placed in a school. That also includes a SIM card. They help you set up a bank account. It includes transportation from the airport in Bangkok to your hotel, and then transportation from Bangkok to Hua Hin, as well as 40 hours of cultural immersion activities and lectures that include like lectures about the history of Thailand and the culture of Thailand, which is spread out in 1 week. It's a week of orientation. Okay, so now let's talk about costs. As I said, you have two separate things within the program, the TESOL course and then the program itself. The TESOL course costs $1,075, and the program costs another $1,075, making it a total of $2,150. This is paid in advance. You pay a deposit first, which is like $300, kind of around the time you apply and accept and all of that. And then about a month before your arrival date, you'll pay the resting $1,850. So this is paid beforehand, giving you a little bit of time to save for that before, and then later on save up for the month that you have in Hua Hin. So let's move on to the next one.
So one of the most stressful things before arriving to your country in Asia is the paperwork. And this process that we're talking about is specific to Thailand. I'm not sure if it's different with the Philippines or Vietnam, but this one is specific to Thailand. There are 4 main documents that you need, and that is your visa, degree notarization if you have a bachelor's or master's degree, your background check, and proof of insurance. So me and Michelle recommend that you start your degree notarization process at least 6 weeks before leaving to teach abroad, because there's a long process where you may be sending documents in the mail and waiting for them to arrive back. So there are really 2 ways for you to get your degree notarized, and the first way is for you to do all the steps and get it notarized yourself, or you could pay for a service to get them notarized for you. Michelle did the first option where she did all of the steps by herself, and the first step is to get your degree notarized at your local public notary office. That one cost Michelle about $15. And the next step is to get your degree authenticated by the Department of State, and because we are from California, that was in the Los Angeles office, so Michelle just drove to Los Angeles and got it done there, and that cost her $26. And the next step is to get it authenticated by the US Department of State, but that is in Washington, D.C., so that is not in close distance to us. So Michelle just ended up sending her documents through the mail, and that cost her $8 in shipping. So once Michelle got all her documents back from DC, she then took all of the paperwork that she got notarized and took it to the Thai consulate for final approval, and that cost her $15. I, on the other hand, had to pay for a service to authenticate my degree because I was a recent graduate and my university didn't give me my degree till about 3 weeks before I had to leave. So to use that service as well, you just have to go to usauthentication.com, and some of you who are not close to your Department of State or the US Department of State or even a Thai consulate might have to use that service as well. If not, then you will just have to deal with sending in a lot of your paperwork through the mail. With the authentication service, you can get all of the steps that I just mentioned done with them, but me, I got all the steps done except one, which was the Thai consulate approval one, because I ended up just driving with Michelle. So obviously the fee that they will charge will be depending on the number of steps that you need to get done versus the number of steps you're going to get done yourself. I had to pay about $120 for 3 out of 4 of those steps, with an additional $35 charge for FedEx 2-day shipping because they needed to send my documents to me. So in total, I paid $155 for that authentication service. It was really easy. I just needed to fill out an application and then email scan my degree, and then they took care of all the steps for me, and like I said, just mailed back all the documents to my house. Michelle, who did all the 4 steps by herself, ended up paying $64, and I, who used a service, ended up paying $170 with the US authentication service, and then doing the 4th step on my own at the Thai consulate, which was $15. So the degree authentication process is pretty costly no matter what you choose, but it ultimately depends on what is most convenient for you.
You don't need to have a bachelor's degree to apply or to teach in Thailand. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, just turn in whatever other educational qualifications you have, your high school diploma, associate's degree, and any other certificates you might have. You can turn those in as well. You'll turn in whatever degree or diploma you have along with your official transcripts. Now we have the visa process. You have 3 options for a visa. We have the 30-day visa, which is the visa that you get on arrival. So the moment you arrive in Bangkok, you can apply for this visa and you have 30 days. It's a tourist visa. However, if you do get this one, bear in mind that you'll probably have to extend your visa because you won't have a placement yet, or you'll be barely getting one, so you won't be able to do a visa run to get your working visa, the non-B. You'll have to probably extend it, and it's just a longer process and probably more of a hassle to do while you're in Thailand. So option number 2 is the 60-day visa that you apply for beforehand while you're still in your country. It's also a tourist visa, but it's 60 days. So this gives you an extra month to do a visa run to get your working visa. This is the one I got. It was pretty simple. You print out an application, you fill it out, you can mail this or do it in person with other documents, proof of funds, proof of an onward ticket, which you need to show that you'll be leaving the country within those 60 days. This part sounds a little bit tricky, but it really isn't. You can either choose to buy an actual plane ticket and either take this trip or just lose that plane ticket within those 60 days, or you can rent a ticket. There are websites that rent tickets for 48 hours, so you can show that you have a proof that you're leaving the country within those 60 days. I did this. I'll leave the link below to that. It's not a sketchy website, it's a real website, and it costs about $12. So you only lose $12 instead of more, or have the hassle of having to figure out where it is you're going to travel to. Then you also need proof of where you're going to be staying at in Bangkok, which the program XploreAsia will give to you. And then you need $40, check or money order. Then option number 3. Option number 3 is the one that Stephanie took. She did the non-immigrant O, which I think is like the volunteering one. This one was recommended to her because she's a US citizen. I'm not from English speaking country technically, so they told me I couldn't apply for this one, but this one gives you 90 days. So it gives you an even extra month to do your visa run. However, we found it unnecessary because we did the visa run at the same time, and then she just ended up paying double the amount. She paid 80, I paid 40. So we felt like that was kind of unnecessary. Also, her process took a little bit longer. We went in at the same time to turn in our visa applications. I got it back the same day, just a few hours later. She had to go back the next day and pick it up. If you want the extra month in Thailand that just gives you more time to do a visa run or just an extended month, then maybe you want the 90-day, but we didn't think it was that necessary. I guess that just depends on your plans. And now the last document you need is the background check. This one's really simple. Go to your local police station, ask for a copy of your criminal record, and that's pretty much it. I've seen prices vary for this one. My local police station charged me $30. Stephanie's charged her, she doesn't remember if it was $10 or $0. The point is she paid less. This one's really dependent on where you live. And then lastly, the proof of insurance. This one's pretty simple. If you don't have insurance, they are going to ask you to get a traveler's insurance and then just send them the copy of your policy number to the company. They just want to make sure you're covered.
On arrival at the Thai airport, the immigration may ask for proof of funds if you are on the 30-day visa or the 60-day visa. And that proof of funds that they want you to show coming from America is 800 USD. Shell had the 60-day visa and they didn't ask her, but we believe it is better to be safe than sorry. But I, who came on a non-immigrant 90-day visa, did not have to worry about showing proof of funds, so I didn't need to have any cash on me. A few days after arrival, once you are with XploreAsia staff, they will ask you for 5,200 baht, which is equal to 168 USD. So the 5,200 baht will cover your deposit for the accommodation in Hua Hin, your key deposit for your room door in Hua Hin, the setup for your Thai bank account, and also for your hotel stay in Bangkok when you first arrive. But you do get your deposit for your accommodation in Hua Hin back, and your key deposit as well, as long as you didn't trash your room or didn't lose your key. The amount you get back from that deposit will also depend on your AC usage. So yeah, as long as you didn't mess up your room or lose your key and didn't go crazy with the AC usage, you should be getting a fair amount of your deposit back.
If you're doing the TESOL course, you need spending money for your first month in Hua Hin. XploreAsia recommends that you bring no less than $1,100 specifically for that month, for your meals, necessities, and although this is very doable, it is quite limiting to the things that you can do. Depending on your spending habits and what it is that you want to get out of this experience, I would recommend bringing at least $1,500 just so you have more leeway as to what you want to spend on and the excursions you want to go on. XploreAsia organizes excursions on the weekends, however, they're not necessarily a part of the program. You have to pay for these separately while you're there. These excursions include going to a waterfall, elephant sanctuary, temples, a temple and a cave. So these are things you might want to take advantage of while you're there. So I would bring a little bit more just so that you can do these things freely without being so limited. Coming in with less than 1,500, you'll be fine. Food in Thailand is quite cheap, especially if you're actually eating local. You also need this money for simple necessities for that month, like towels, toilet paper, toothpaste, shampoo. I only went with travel size shampoo, so I had to buy like the bigger size shampoo while I was there. So these are things to keep in mind when you are budgeting for that month.
So we know that this process may seem overwhelming and stressful, so we have a few tips for you guys. And the first one is to check times and call ahead of the places that you need to go to. For example, the Department of State or the Thai consulate. That way you don't waste time or gas in case those places are closed when you do go. Because when me and Michelle wanted to do the final step of our degree notarization, we went to the Thai consulate and the office was closed, and online it said it was open. The sign at the door once we got there said that it was closed because it was a Thai holiday. And I already said this tip earlier in the video, but I can't stress it enough. Start your paperwork at least 6 weeks early before your departure date. 5 weeks like the minimum. But like I said, you're going to be mailing out a lot of paperwork or you're waiting for documents to come to you. That's just better for you to have your paperwork done early and ready to go because you already have enough worries with moving abroad. And the last tip, which Michelle already covered, is for you to just save up and have fun. You know your spending habits more than anyone else, and you know what you like to do when you go out. So just try to calculate it to the best of your ability, and I'm sure everything will go well in Thailand. And if our time there taught us anything, is that everything always just works out in the end. So we know that the process may seem expensive and very stressful, but me and Michelle both think that it's worth it.
Exactly. And in future videos, we'll talk more about the experience of actually teaching and being in Thailand and why we do it all over again.
So we're Miss Muses, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.